The new Allbirds Tree Runners are comfy shoes made from trees, but they're also stylish too. Allbirds is dedicated to making stylish, comfortable footwear using premium natural materials designed for life's everyday adventures. Go to allbirds.com and find your pair of light, breezy, comfy shoes made from trees. The Tree Runner from Allbirds.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen. I gotta do one thing. I gotta do one thing.
He's not Jalen.
30 seconds.
Okay.
It's all good.
I'm cool. Jalen Rose really bad at estimating time. This 30 seconds is going to be 5 minutes. Not a good time estimator.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen versus everybody. What up, Dow?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
Jalen Rose, the playoffs are in full swing this weekend. A lot of series that we thought were done, finished, over, are now even at 2-2. There have been some very surprising results. One of the most surprising things has been the play of none other than Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio is leading the Jazz to a 2-1 lead over the Thunder. This evening, the Thunder tried to even that series. It's gotten to the point where Russell Westbrook has now pledged that he's going to stop Ricky Rubio. What is happening in the world?
This is what I love about sports, by the way, is when you look at this year's playoffs, you're watching the best basketball players in the world. Only 450 guys have that privilege. There are 4,000 people that have had the opportunity to wear NBA jerseys on the court. And what takes place is there are going to be times where Jeff Teague outplays Chris Paul.
Yep.
There are going to be times when Drew Holiday outplays Damian Lillard.
When the MVP, James Harden, doesn't look like he's that good at basketball.
When Ricky Rubio and rookie Donovan Mitchell are going to outplay Russell Westbrook and Paul George, which they did in the previous game.
Yep.
And with that, it just shows how, while the Hall of Fame level and superstar level players like franchise, changing generational players like LeBron James aside, you now have the playoffs where from game to game, the influence of people who are really good at basketball shows itself. And so for Russell Westbrook to get up post game and talk about slowing him down, at this point, I love hearing that because I appreciate the competitive spirit. However, I'm in the thought process that him having that game now sways the series into the favor of the Utah Jazz. So the work that he needed to do has already been done.
This playoffs is different than others because one thing you do in sports media is there's a simple question. Well, who do you think is going to win the series? Who do you think is going to win the series? I'm just going to straight up say, I don't know. I don't know with all these series. I mean, obviously the Warriors are going to beat the Spurs. The Pelicans have already, gotten themselves in the conference semifinals. But if you look at that Jazz Thunder series, I don't know who's going to win that. If you look at the Wizards series, I don't know who's going to win that. If you look at the Bucks Celtics, I do not know who's going to win that. It's been fascinating. I'd say this playoffs has been particularly interesting this year because of the parity. Would you agree?
I do, and the matchups worked itself out for certain reasons. Like, I enjoy seeing the San Antonio Spurs play with pride and not be swept on their home floor by the Golden State Warriors. The Pelicans sweeping the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round. Though it's a 1-8 matchup, Toronto and Washington, these are both teams that the core group of the guys were in the playoffs the last couple of years, and they anticipated being teams that can advance in this year's playoffs. Yep. The emergence of the Bucks, Jabari Parker and Thon Maker, the Celtics' young core in Jaylen Brown and Tatum playing well without Kyrie Irving being on the court. So there's so many things that I'm enthusiastic about in this year's playoffs. And the injuries. No Boogie Cousins. No Kawhi Leonard.
No Steph.
Steph Curry hasn't played yet. So there's a lot that's been that has played out and obviously will continue to.
What's been up with James Harden these last couple of games? Like, what's going on there?
See, I'm a person that's going to give Minnesota credit. Okay. They're doing a really good job of staying at home with the three-point shooters, trying to do their best to force James Harden to use his right hand. He played in isolation the entire year, but try to make him play in the crowd. He hasn't been as efficient as somebody that I voted for MVP this year, and Jimmy Butler's a big reason for that. So at this point, I'm giving Minnesota credit for not allowing a barrage of threes to take place, because when you play against the Houston Rockets, once that gets going, then that's why they're the number one seed. And James Harden put himself in the MVP category.
You know that we sold out a long time ago, but now our 2 live shows in New York City are officially sold out. Gramercy Theater, the 30th of April and the 1st of May. We're going to put out some scavenger hunt, contesty, social media stuff to get some extra people in there, so there's still a chance to come watch us.
Dope.
Excited about that? Let's give the people what they want, Jalen.
Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
Love scoring amazing hotel deals? Then you've got to get the Hotel Tonight app. Forget scrolling through never-ending lists of hotels. Hotel Tonight shows you a select list of incredible deals at hotels you actually want to stay at. And even though the name's Hotel Tonight, you can book up to 100 days in advance in top destinations and up to a week in advance everywhere else. Want to get those deals? Yeah, you do. Download the Hotel Tonight app now.
Jalen Rose, LeBron James had 32 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists in 46 minutes. Before the game, Lance Stevenson, my guy, said that the Pacers were in full control of the series. Did the Pacers lose control by losing Game 4?
They did lose control and lost a golden opportunity, more importantly, to put the Cavs at an advantage that probably would have put them in a position where they couldn't recover from. And this is where you look at the roster and say, everybody played pretty well if you're Indiana, but this is where you need Victor Oladipo to get his season average.
Yep.
And so that didn't happen. And LeBron James exceeded his season averages in points, in rebounds, in assists, probably about the same, and blocks.
Also,
and so the most dominant player in the series took over, which is why the Cavs, even though it's 2-2, now have control of this series.
So Jalen Rose, I'm concerned about LeBron playing 46 minutes in this one, in a Game 4 in a first-round series. I think we've seen LeBron get fatigued as playoff series go deep into the finals. Do you think there's reason to be concerned about this type of an effort from LeBron James just to get a win?
Please don't turn into this media guy.
I'm not that media guy. I watched the finals last year. LeBron James was great in the first half of every finals game and then kind of fell apart in the second half. That's what happened to LeBron James. He changes from half to half. There's stats that back this up. The average distance that he shoots from in this series is dramatically longer in the second half than the first half because I think he gets tired and he stops going to the rim.
What year do you think we started saying that players were tired during the playoffs? When did this start?
Probably 1975, 1976, something like that.
Not true.
2013.
Not true.
2013.
I never, ever recall watching basketball when I was growing up and wondering, I wonder if Larry Bird's tired throughout the playoffs. I never said, I wonder if MJ is dealing with a level of fatigue that's going to stop him from being able to play at an optimum level. Or let me check the Hakeem Olajuwon measure of if he's going to be able to perform because he's a little tired from the previous game. There are no back-to-backs. Okay, games happen every 2 or 3 days.
46 minutes, Jalen. 46 minutes.
You get a chance to play and prepare against one squad. This just not started. Whenever, what's the new hot thing? Whenever the Migos came out, that's when we start talking about this.
Whatever. Jalen, I think LeBron James was tired in the finals last year. You know that. You watched the games. I watched the games with you. You know he was tired.
So that's why they lost?
All I want to talk about is Lance Stevenson. Because Lance is back in the news. Lance is taking over. It is Lance time. Lance was doing his Lance things, bumping into people, flopping all over the place, getting a technical on LeBron James. It was excellent. I loved every second of it. And even LeBron had something funny to say about it after the game.
No, Lance just a little dirty, that's all. He's a little dirty. We got history, so I already know that. So I should have known, though, that I've known since school that it's not the guy who tells the joke that gets caught, it's the guy who laughs. So they caught me on a retaliation, so. But he played well tonight.
Jalen, what do you think about Lance's impact on the series?
First and foremost, let's talk about LeBron James Media Savvy 101. It's like being an artist when you record a song and you play it in the studio for the producers and everybody else in your crew to hear it before you put it on wax. Or a comedian that's testing his jokes that he's been writing before he do it on stage. Exactly what he said right there in his locker is what he said at the podium in the post game.
He's just working his material. He's just working it out. He's working it out with the hoodie on and then he puts his regular clothes on and he does it again.
I am not mad at him at all. And I have to say, for those that have followed this fine program, David Jacoby is the only person in the national media that has consistently given Lance Stevenson love. Mm-hmm. And it's not just because of what a lot of people are doing now. A lot of people now are here for the sideshow. A lot of people now are here for the shenanigans. And he could have 6 points, and now there's so many people like, I love Lance. What they love is Lance now becoming somewhat of a circus act for some people who see him nudging and poking the bear that is one LeBron James. And that can be the gift and or the curse. Because now, is he going to be the kind of player that is going to make a bad decision late in the game that costs his team?
That is the kind of player.
Or is he going to be that guy that makes a quality play and a quality decision?
Nah.
And so this is what we've seen from him. And based on that, LeBron James is not fazed at all. He wants Lance to be in the game. Do y'all realize this?
Yes. So, Jalen, I've been thinking about this all weekend. Now, remember Game 3 when the Cavs showed up in matching suits, custom suits? They were all gifted by LeBron James. Then they lost that game. Remember these suits? And then they did it again in Game 4. Soft move or boss move? Wearing the LeBron James custom suits that barely go down past your knees.
First and foremost, you already know what I'm going to say.
I know.
It's one thing to rock a custom suit. It's another thing to tell me how to rock a custom suit.
Yeah.
And so that's a soft move because I'm not wearing those boots and I'm definitely not showing my Achilles.
Thanks to a Giannis Antetokounmpo tip-in, the Bucks have now evened the series against the Celtics. I thought that this one was over when it was 0-2, but now we're having an even series. Who do you think is going to win this one, Mr. Rose?
The Boston Celtics have home court advantage, but I think now that the Bucks have unlocked Jabari Parker's performance, scoring the basketball and hustling on D, Thon Maker getting timely blocks, Malcolm Brogdon playing quality minutes. As you look deeper into the box score, Chris Middleton has become a legitimate all-star caliber player, just like the MVP, just like Greek Freak has become an MVP caliber player. So with the Celtics being shorthanded, and by the way, Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been terrific and consistent throughout this series, I'm going to get an edge at this point to the Bucks, but I picked the Celtics going into it.
Giannis Antetokounmpo went to get some tacos after the big Bucks win, and my man couldn't get a seat. He was waiting there for 10 minutes. They wouldn't give him a seat in the restaurant. There was a wait, and then he just ended up leaving. Should Giannis Antetokounmpo get a seat in front of other people at a restaurant, or should he have to wait like everybody else?
Man, let me tell you how bad this restaurant blew it.
Let's get some tacos.
You mean to tell me, other than Aaron Rodgers, you probably have the most famous person that lives in your state. It's in your restaurant. Oh, and by the way, he just happens to be 7 foot tall. Mm-hmm. You do realize by him being seated there for 30 minutes or for an hour having dinner and people taking pictures and people tweeting and IG and it actually helps your business. Number one, it isn't about like giving him specialty because he, by the way, just won a playoff game from your hometown team. I'm pretty sure if you would have went to some of the tables, 75% of the people would be like, I'll get up and let him sit down.
I'm sure 90% of the people would have done that.
So I don't understand what they were thinking. But here's the kind of guy he is.
Let the man have some tacos.
And this is the difference between him and you.
No,
he's going to go back to that restaurant and make them look good and allow them to make it up to them.
Yeah, he is.
While you would tweet and clown the place and never go back and mess up their business.
Jalen, you would have kicked over a trash can, poured water all over the place. You would have caused such a scene. Don't act like it's me that would have done that. Please, let's get Giannis some tacos.
Hard to believe that baseball season is here. As fans, we demand a lot from our teams, and a new season means not only hope that our teams will do us proud, but a renewed drive and commitment by players and coaches to start strong and finish strong. Goodyear strives to make tires that do the same, to go further, faster, and longer. They're inspired by those who put in the work and effort needed to succeed. So if you demand superior performances from your team, why not do the same for your tires? When it comes to choosing tires, choose right at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
Anthony Davis had 47 points. Drew Holiday had 41 points as the Pelicans swept the Blazers and are now the only team in the conference semifinals. Jalen Rose, what has come together for the Pelicans that has allowed them to sweep right past Portland?
Look at the Pelicans fly. Look at the Pelicans fly.
I was hoping you were going to do that when I brought up this topic.
Well, first and foremost, Anthony Davis leading the playoffs in points, leading the playoffs in blocks. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure he's in the top 5 in rebounds, solidifying himself as the top player in the league, not named LeBron James. Ooh, he's going to be in that conversation with James Harden and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard when he returns, Russell Westbrook. He's officially in that family, first and foremost. Second, the emergence of Drew Holiday. When he got his big contract a few years ago, a lot of people was like,
are they
sure about paying him that kind of bread?
Yep.
And then he's dealt with some injuries. He's dealt with some personal concerns.
Yes.
Taking time off to care for his wife as she nursed herself back to health. And now all of a sudden he's healthy. He's always been a terrific two-way player. He was an all-star when he played in Philadelphia a few years ago. Now all of a sudden he's able to do it on the big stage, doing it against Dame Lillard, and also scoring the ball, scoring 40-plus points in a closeout game. He's been awesome. And then playoff Rondo.
Yes, playoff
He
Rondo.
settled down the lineup. He can handle the basketball.
Rondo.
He has a level of toughness. Mm-hmm. His distribution and his court savvy has taken pressure off Holiday. It's made Davis more efficient. And so now all of a sudden, they look like a team that without Steph Curry in the next round, I think it will be a long series now if and when they face the Golden State Warriors.
Well, it's easy to celebrate the Pelicans, but we also have to look at the Blazers. And one thing that you've always said that I've stolen from you and I use all the time is happiness is a function of realistic expectations. And I believe that the Blazers had higher expectations getting swept in the first round. Does this playoff failure mean that the Blazers will have major roster changes this offseason?
There are a couple of shake-it-up series that I see right on paper. One is happening in the Eastern Conference, 1 versus 8, the Raptors and the Wizards. Whoever loses that series fall in line with this. And the Portland Trail Blazers already being Wild East. I'm going to get a broom real soon. Out of the playoffs also falls into that category. But the thing is, I don't see much flexibility. You have Evan Turner and Myers Leonard's contracts. Mm-hmm. I don't see other teams jump up to grab them. Your two main assets are your backcourt and Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum. If and when do you break that up? If so, which player is going to get the best offer? And lastly, Nurkic, who's going to be up for a contract this summer. Got to make decisions on him, which I think you probably should keep him based on the balance of your squad.
Yep. The Warriors went down to the Spurs on a vintage Manu Ginobili performance. It was so fun to watch Manu. But we all know where this is going to end up. The Warriors are going to end up winning this series, and they are going to face those Pelicans that we just talked about. But will they have Steph Curry? Coach Steve Kerr said this about Steph. Quote, Steph's not going to play anytime soon. He's coming along well. He looked good in practice. I talked to him this morning. He's feeling healthy, getting better. He still has a few limitations that he's going to try to work through, but no pain. I think he's on track. I can't put a timetable on it, but I think he's coming along really well. Jalen Rose, it's very concerning to hear Steve Kerr say Steph is not going to play anytime soon with the Pelicans waiting and resting. Should Warriors fans be concerned about this upcoming series with the Pelicans?
I think being patient with Steph is the best remedy.
Okay.
And I like how Coach Kerr did with this conversation, because now it tempers expectations of people trying to rush him back.
Yep.
Because I already saw the conversation. Oh, one more game in this series, it gives Steph more time to rest. No, we're going to make sure he's 100% healthy before we bring him back. He's not going to play anytime soon. So now when people see him warming up before the game, trying to do his rehab, it's not, oh, maybe he's going to play tonight. They're bringing him along slow, and that's the smart way to do it based on the injury history that he has.
Just a short time ago, the Wizards were down 0-2 against the Raptors. Over the weekend, when the series shifted to D.C., they've now evened the series. Jalen Rose, are we on the verge of another Raptors playoff collapse?
Here's what I noticed in this series is that role players' games for the Toronto Raptors did not travel to D.C.
Mm-hmm.
They were terrific in Game 1. DeMar DeRozan took over in Game 2. And then all of a sudden you get to Washington, D.C. Bradley Beal finds his game.
Yep.
John Wall points and assists are there. His efficiency is a lot better. In Game 4, Kelly Oubre and Otto Porter Jr. scored in double figures. They were contributors. So to me, it's going to be a long series that I anticipated. It's going to be interesting to see how Game 5 plays out for the Raptors. If they're not able to play well and win that game, then I think your question is more along the lines of the epic collapses that we've seen, unfortunately for them, a couple of times in the last handful of years.
Jalen Rose, we have a Harriet Tubman $20 bill update. This is a news story that we have been tracking very closely here at Jalen and Jacoby over the past 4 or 5 years. Remember, they were announcing that Harriet Tubman was going to be the new face of the $20 bill. It was expected to happen, right around 2020, the year 2020. Well, guess what? Harriet Tubman 20 has been delayed, Jalen Rose. What? Now they are saying it is going to be about 2026 when we will finally see Harriet Tubman grace the $20 bill. Is this good news that they're giving us an update on it, or do you think it will continue to be delayed and it might not ever happen?
I'm so disappointed that they delayed the Harriet Tubman $20 bill being in circulation. Like, this is some of the most disappointing news that I've heard in a really long time.
How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take?
First off,
how hard is this to do?
Did her status change?
She looks like
I don't understand.
Yeah, her status did not change, Mr. Rose. We will continue to update you on this very important story on Jalen and Jacoby and the Jalen and Jacoby podcast. We will also update you on the whereabouts and the mind state of a gentleman by the name of Joakim Noah. Let's see what Joakim has been up to.
God bless. God bless the earth, the trees, and the sun.
Jalen Rose. God bless the earth, the trees, and the sun.
God bless the earth, the trees.
And the blonde beard. What do you think about Joakim Noah?
Joakim Noah, that's an official failed test.
That's a failed test. He's gonna be in the program.
Adam Silver's on the phone. Was that beard blonde?
How do you dye your beard like that? Like, I don't even know how you get that done. How do you dye your beard blonde?
I have an answer for you.
Okay, please educate me, Mr. Rose.
Medicinal.
It's medicinal. It's medicinal. Oh, Joakim Noah, you're one of my favorites. Moving on. A former juvenile detention center employee is now facing up to 50 years in prison for stealing, listen, over $1 million worth of fajitas. The man was having fajita deliveries sent to him, and then he was had this fajita selling business on the side. Over $1 million of fajita this man stole over the course of years. He's now facing up to 50 years in prison. But I have a very simple question I want to ask you that we've been debating amongst the staff. Are fajitas overrated?
Fajitas are not overrated. They're not on the level of tacos, but I can understand why people would say. I prefer soft tacos, so I kind of cheated with fajitas in a lot of ways.
And why do you think this man started an underground dark market to sell fajitas? What is happening here? How did this even happen?
I'm not sure are you selling the actual fajita?
I don't want to buy fajitas from anywhere but a restaurant. I don't want to buy fajitas from an independent person. I want to buy fajitas from a fajita establishment.
Hit the brake.
Okay, sir.
You say you only want to buy fajitas from a restaurant?
Yeah.
Can you buy food at a restaurant that is only a fajita? Can you do that?
What is happening? I think that's a failed test for you, Jalen Rose. I think that's a failed test for you. Of course you can buy fajitas at a restaurant. It's a restaurant. What are you talking about? There's a gentleman by the name of Dylan McWilliams. Dylan McWilliams was on the beautiful island of Kauai in Hawaii. I've been to this island. It is paradise on earth. He was enjoying the sun and the surf, and he was attacked by a tiger shark. It bit him on the calf. Dylan McWilliams is okay. However, last year, Dylan McWilliams was enjoying Colorado when he was mauled by a bear. And then 3 years ago, Dylan McWilliams was bitten by a rattlesnake. Jalen Rose, if you were Dylan McWilliams, would you ever leave your house again?
I would, but it's unique to have somebody that was mauled by a bear, bitten by a rattlesnake, not bitten by a shark. Man, that's outstanding, and he still lives to talk about it.
I just feel like how much of this is his fault and how much of this is bad luck?
Well, here's the thing. You probably can avoid being bitten by a shark by staying out of water.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can avoid being bitten by a rattlesnake. And I would hope I could avoid being mauled by a bear. But then again, I just saw footage of a bear at a sporting event recently.
What? Of course, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. We always appreciate callers, being part of the show. We include the people in the show. And we have a caller named the Mad Caller. And the Mad Caller's back.
Mad Caller's back.
What up, dude? It's the Mad Caller, and I'm back. Shout out to Reg. Shout out to Big Crown. What up, homie? No beef. I want no smoke with Big Crown. Jacoby. Jalen. I must say, I'm upset, and let me tell you why. Just listened to the podcast from Friday. I'm a little bit behind. I just bought a house. I'm doing some stuff to the house, painting and whatnot. Wife pregnant, 8 months. Got a little girl on the way. She's due June 17th. Shout out to my wife. But let me tell you why I'm at. I don't care who you are, where you're from, where you're going, or where you've been. Steak is not a breakfast food. That is not a boss food. Ordering steak and eggs for breakfast is not a boss food. It's not a breakfast food. Your waffles, eggs, bacon, toast, hash browns, sausage. I'm from Texas, so we do the Earl Campbell, whatever. Not steak. Let me know what you think. Well, I already know what you think, but let me know what you think about what I think. Holla at your boy. One yourself. I'm out. Keep getting those direct deposits. That was actually funny, Enrico. Word.
First and foremost, we appreciate anybody that supports our program and that have the last 6.5 years. And you become a part of the family.
Little girl coming on the way, working on the house.
You're able to create a character on the program. We appreciate that. And I just have to say a couple of things now that you're part of the family. When you're a part of this family, we say what we think and we think what we say. That's what makes us a dysfunctional, happy family.
Okay.
So now I have to say a couple of things. Number one, if you're going to be the Mad Caller, you got to be more consistent.
Is he nice?
Number one. I know your wife got a baby on the way and everything, but when you in the car or you at work or she sleep or something, you're not taking care of her because that's priority number one, no doubt. You got to be more consistent. Number two, you got to actually be mad.
He wasn't mad.
This time,
I want to hang
you
with
were
the
just
mad
talking
caller.
this time.
I
You
wanna
weren't
hang out with the
angry.
mad caller.
You wasn't hostile. You wasn't volatile. You didn't stay in character.
The slightly perturbed caller.
Number three, don't compliment your jokes. You know? Keep getting those direct deposits. I thought that was like okay.
Now, he was giving a shout to a previous caller.
And so, here's what I have to say about that. First and foremost, I eat whatever I want for breakfast.
Jalen didn't put it on the menu. Jalen didn't make it up.
Number two, it all is based on your body clock. What, to me, you should eat like for different portions of the day.
Okay.
Like, I haven't, like now that I'm getting up at 3 in the morning, like usually I'm eating something by 5:30. So like when I'm done with the show by like 10 or 11, I'm trying to eat something else. Like in a few minutes, I'm about to go eat some macaroni and cheese, some greens. I'm about to eat some food that somebody would eat at a cookout. And so it depends on what time of day it is. And lastly, steak and eggs is fire.
Steak and eggs is good. And I think that, you know, breakfast is interesting because sometimes you just want a little snack. You know, you need something. You can't eat nothing, but sometimes you just want a little snack, but sometimes you want to really eat. You know, and when you really want to eat, steak and eggs is fire. I had a filet mignon, and me and my wife were going to go out to dinner the next day. The filet mignon was in the fridge, and I don't want it to get old. I don't like frozen food. I don't like to freeze my meats and then thaw them and eat them later. I think that's gross and weird. I call it zombie meat. I don't like zombie meat. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to put this thing on the grill at 10 in the morning on a Saturday, and I'm going to eat steak and eggs. I made fried eggs. I had a fire filet mignon grilled perfectly. That was one of the best breakfasts I've ever had in my life. Not just I've ever made for myself, I've ever had in my life. And I thought about you when I did it, Jalen Rose. And now I'm going to think about the mad caller. Oh, sorry, the slightly perturbed caller. I'm going to think about him when next time I order steak and eggs. Steak and eggs is good.
And also, of course, you can have breakfast without this item being a part of it, but a true breakfast includes eggs.
Gotta have eggs. Eggs have to be involved for it to be breakfast. I'm not having a bagel with lox. You know what I mean? Like, it's fine. I'll do that from time to time. But eggs gotta be involved. Eggs have to be involved. Eggs have to be involved. How do you take your eggs, Jalen?
Fried, slightly runny, or scrambled with grilled onions.
Yeah, Jalen loves grilled onions. So he puts grilled onions on everything.
And I eat hard-boiled eggs, too. Had a couple this morning.
Jalen will order a steak and be like, I'll take grilled onions on top of that. And I'm going to have some spinach. Can you put some grilled onions in that? And I'm going to have some mashed potatoes. Can you put grilled onions in that, too?
Not in the mashed potatoes.
And I don't even think you mean grilled onions. You mean like sauteed onions, but you call them grilled onions? It's really weird. Your onion obsession is very strange. I can't even figure it out. Thank you so much for the call, slightly perturbed caller. Let's listen to another voicemail.
What up, though? It's your boy Eric from Chicago. First and foremost, shout out Reggie. Shout out, Allbirds, Hotel Tonight, SeatGeek, all those ad reads that I fast forward through when Jacoby does them. Shout out them. Listen to the pod every day. But I just wanted to say one thing. I'm sitting here watching, ESPN, Jalen's on there with the broom on his shoulder instead of the bat. And I just had to ask, man, like, where's the Walis? The Walis, ting, ting. Come on, man. One time for the Filipinos. You changed, bro. You changed. Anyways, peace.
You changed, Jalen. You did. You used to really rock the Walis, ting, ting. All my Filipino friends loved it. It was like your little bit in the playoffs every year. And then you just gave up on it. You sold out. Now you're on Get Up every morning. You just don't care as much about your true fan base.
Nope. Actually, we were online Saturday ordering a Walis. I had 2 of them. I thought was in my cube from Los Angeles. I went through the boxes, couldn't find it. Reg got on the text in the building, had him check in the studio to see if it was up there where you are. It's not in there, so I had to order one. The Walis will be back. And I'm going to make sure I acknowledge it for the Portland Trail Blazers. Shout to the San Antonio Spurs for not falling into that category.
I want to say something. I was in New York over the weekend, visiting some friends, looking at apartments. First of all, a couple things. Number one, Brooklyn's expensive now. I don't know what happened, but Brooklyn is like almost as expensive as Manhattan now. And I can't afford these apartments. But secondly, I was there. It was my wife's birthday. Jalen came by. Thank you so much. We had a little soiree for her. Her cake was amazing. And some of my friends came up to me, and they were very upset about this program, Jalen Rose. Some of my friends were very upset. You want to know why?
Why?
Because of the way that I so deftly weave our sponsorship reads into the content.
Oh, you taking a lot of grief for that.
Everyone's mad at me. They feel like it's disingenuous. Like, it's like, no, this is what we do. We got sponsors. That's how you keep the lights on in the studio. Yep. All right, Reg, we got time for one more voicemail.
Hey, Reggie, what up? Yep, medicinal. Hey, Jalen and Jacoby, this is Natasha calling from Toronto, and I just had a question for you. So I was in the kitchen cooking Sunday night dinner, playing music, and I put on All About the Benjamins, and my husband said to me, whose part is better, Nicki Minaj in Monster or Little Kim in All About the Benjamins? And we're having a heavy debate. We can't come to a conclusion. You can let me know what you guys think. Love you guys.
I'm going with the original first, Little Kim. Wanna rumble with the B, huh? Throw a hex on the whole family. Dressed in all black like the homie. Came right to me soon as I heard her say it.
I'm gonna have to side with Lil' Kim. But it's also sometimes these questions, it's like what's better, steak or fried chicken? Like I love steak and I love fried chicken. I don't have to choose. You know what I mean? Like it's that simple. Like they're both excellent. That Monster verse, I remember very vividly the first time I heard that song and thinking, wow, this Nicki Minaj really killed this one.
Shout to both of them. But I gotta say this for Nicki too. She's come a long way in her career. Like I remember listening to her on Shade 4-5. Like it seemed like almost 5 to 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. She's been around
before she was really, popping off. And now all of a sudden she's killing the game. So I'm fans of both of them.
Of course. Ladies, don't forget, every Wednesday we celebrate the women around the world. Please call up 985-80-JALEN and leave us your voicemails. We'll be back tomorrow with another dope show to step to. Why, Jalen?
We're not done. We're not done.
Until tomorrow.
The new Allbirds Tree Runners are comfy shoes made from trees. When you put them on, they feel light and breezy. They're so comfy, they're like walking barefoot through a patch of 4-leaf clovers on a spring day. But they also look good, too. They come in a bunch of limited edition colors and are designed simply with no unnecessary logos. Allbirds is on a mission to prove that comfort, style, and sustainability don't have to be mutually exclusive. Go to allbirds.com and find your pair of light, breezy, comfy shoes made from trees. The Tree Runner from Allbirds.